situation. No, that's fine. I was like,
yeah,
I'm gonna go up there also.
Yeah, go find someone.
Draw your attention back to the brief.
Hey, Gunny, you want to grab your guys in the HST and take them?
Sure. I was the section lead for the Warhorse flight, the 253s, and then I was also the aircraft commander for Warhorse 5-1 who came in to do the pick. And I was essentially there and involved with planning with 3rd TSB, who was our HST team, as well as the maintainers and WTIs at HMLA 267. And yep, so I executed as a flight lead today. Yeah, today was a pretty cool experience. It was the first time that an AH-1 Zulu was lifted, so Warhorse was happy to have that opportunity. And so significance, out here we do a lot of training with training loads. This was the first time that we were able to pick up a Cobra, and it's a great experience for us. While it was down in that range for maintenance purposes, it's still great training for us and our crews to practice on FMF gear, and it only makes us that much better when we need to do it in extremis. So it was a great opportunity for everybody involved. Definitely. So 3rd TSB, like I mentioned before, we worked with them in the past. We actually went on dead to Korea with them, so we had a good working relationship there. And so it was a no-brainer when we got tasked with this exercise to ask them for assistance, and it just goes to further build that working relationship we have together before we need to actually execute when we're executing an O-plan. And then HMLA, they're the UDP HMLA here, so just again building that brother-sister relationship was pretty good. I think it was as close to as briefed as any mission that I've executed so far. Everything cooperated for us, whether everyone knew their roles, and I think it was executed really well. Everyone was at the right place at the right time, so not a lot of friction as far as key players are involved.
Yeah, so I was the crew chief that was calling the external load for both the pickup and the drop-off today. The events were pretty simple. Take off out of here, fly out to the Whiskey 174 range. It's about a 30-minute transit. Once we did that, we dropped the single point hook in flight. That way we didn't have to land and damage or come near any personnel in the zone. With that, we went straight in for the pick for the AH-1, and once we executed the external pick safely, we lifted off and then transited back fairly slowly over the ocean to drop it off at Torrey Station. It's a very significant event, especially for the CH-53, just being the only heavy lift asset in the Marine Corps today. With that, I think doing it for the first time just allows us to further benefit our training for junior Marines and future generations to come. I do. There are a lot of weapons and tactics instructors in both the back of the aircraft as well as the front of the aircraft. A lot of people that have had that experience with planning events like this that made it go a lot smoother. So the planning and the execution went pretty much as well as it possibly could today.
So today we executed the recovery of an AH-1 Zulu that was downed in a range. So remote island, about 35 miles off the coast of the main island of Okinawa. There was no other way to either fix or recover that aircraft, and that's where HMH-465 got called in to external the aircraft back to Okinawa. So the first time you do anything is obviously going to be a challenge because there's a lot of unknowns. So we went through in great detail for all the planning evolution, working with engineers, working with the HMLA 267 maintenance team as well to ensure that we had everything planned accordingly and the load was rigged. There was a lot of planning that went into for how we would execute from the ridge line that the aircraft was stuck on, and then an appropriate place to drop it off to mitigate the aircraft flying over any other personnel as we came into the main island. So this is a multi-agency recovery, and all players had to know their role and then execute flawlessly. That's what we were able to do today with HST to hook us up, and then all the planning evolution that went on the maintenance side for the weight and balance for all the aircraft, as well as the recovery team that was stationed on Torrey Station ready to receive the aircraft. It's as close to flawless as you could have done. We really had no big issues or hiccups outside of the plan. We executed as planned, and it was about as good as you could have done.